Well, we got it back in the shop and got it prep sanded up to there. So the game plan is to take the wheels off, finish prep sanding the bottom underneath there, pull the tent back in, and then get the back of it sprayed up to about there, and then put all the back end parts and stuff back on there. Then we'll put the wheels back on so that we can move it back out, and then we can take the center parts off, because I don't have enough room to bring the tent up, and I don't want to get overspray on my rig. So now you see the dilemma that I'm in. I can only paint so much of it at one time, so we'll paint up to the winch and then put all the back stuff off, put the wheels on, and then we can move the tent forward and we can pull the rest of this stuff off, the gas tank, all of the extraneous hydraulic stuff off, and get that all painted up, and then paint that section of frame, and then we'll work on tilting the cab and getting the all this stuff, this portion of the frame painted, including the steps and the bumper. And focus, there we go. Yeah, kind of updated our lighting game. Went over to Harbor Freight and picked up a bunch of 4-foot LED light bars, so that'll actually be better than those work lights that I've been running. Only downside is those work lights provided plenty of heat, so it kept it about 75 degrees inside of that paint booth. So now I'm actually gonna have to turn on the heater in here. I'm masking them, even though I'm probably going to replace all of these brake lines, or all of these air lines, but I still want to be able to read all the numbers off of them. You know how you can tell when somebody's about to embark on something stupid? They're wearing a tie-back suit. Well, in today's episode of Watch Me Do Dumb Shit, you're going to watch me shoot 4-to-1 primer through an HPOV Harbor Freight $9 gun. Let's go out on a limb and say it does not go well. So we're going to be shooting an epoxy primer. This is an epoxy filler primer, which I don't really care about whether it's filler primer or not. It's just I want to be able to sand it later on, just to kind of clean up some of the stuff. Since we're going to be in tight spaces, we're going to shoot with the Harbor Freight, the little gun. When you first get these things, clean the crap out of them because there's a lot of goop in them. So we're going to be shooting 4-to-1, and we're going to reduce it another 1 with the medium reducer. So let's mix some paint, well, primer, and then we'll shoot a bunch of coats on it. Now what the heck, let's just get started. And put new filters on my respirator because I think I have enough brain damage. And we have to reduce this stuff. The only reason why I'm reducing it by another 1%, or by another 1 part reducer, is because it's too thick to shoot. I mean, this stuff is thick, so it's too thick to shoot out of that 1.4 nozzle. And I don't have a gun that'll shoot it. So we'll just have to thin it until it runs pretty even. If it streams off of the tongue depressor for more than 7 seconds for some reason, I can't spray it through this thing. 14 ounces, that should fit. I want the weep hole facing me. Alright, let's go shoot. So we managed to mix our primer. That's a 4-to-1 primer, epoxy primer. We mixed it 4-to-1, and then we dumped another 1.5 parts of reducer in there. to thin it out enough to shoot it through the 1.4 mil Harbor Freight gun. The Harbor Freight gun, I've had spray cans, you know, just canned aerosol cans shoot better than this, but I mean, it kind of worked. I had to clean it in between each fill, which is not a big surprise. I mean, this stuff only has a 1 hour pot life, and I was shooting probably crawling around underneath there 15-20 minutes each time. So needless to say, I will go ahead and spend the extra money to get the needle and valve set for my other gun, just so I can shoot the primer. Now that that's out of the way, there, I'll show you what we got. It's very, very white. Well, gray, but you know, we want some contrast when we shoot the black in there. This stuff is really hard to get to in all those little gaps. Okay, I have to revise my opinion of the Harbor Freight paint sprayer. This thing, once you crank it up to about 60 psi, it sprays pretty good. So it actually shoots this 41 HS primer pretty dang good. So I'm gonna have to give it a thumbs up. For $9, dude, that's, yeah, you can't beat it. Well, I mean, yeah, unless you actually have, you know, good paint guns. But I didn't want to pop for a new jet kit and needle kit for my good paint guns, my good spray guns. So I said, forget it, let's try this thing. But yeah, not too bad. All right, well, we'll see if the white balance stays very long in this camera. So here we go, get down to where it auto adjusts. There we go. Then we have our color. So we're all sprayed up, and now we can move the truck, put the wheels back on, get this stuff unmasked, and then we can start working on the center section, which will be all this good stuff. Da, da, da. Oh, tripping over shit. There we go. Now we'll let's put all this rear stuff back on, put the tires back on, and we'll be good to go. Got ourselves some new reflectors. I'll leave a link in the description down below. I'll leave links to just anything that I can find links to that I haven't bought in some weird place. But if it's on Amazon, it'll be an affiliate link, because, you know, I'd like to get a couple of pennies out of that. You know, offset the cost of this build. New year, new coveralls, whatever. New alls. So we ran into a minor bit of corrosion on the lights, and the grounding lug busted off, so I'm going to put a new 4mm bolt in there. Might need to open it up just a skosh though. We'll see. Should go through, and it does. Good. Good. Now we can put a nut on that when we poke it through here. And I'm not putting Loctite on these because these have crushed nuts. They crush their nuts, locking nuts. It is a 8mm. I don't like that gasket. We'll probably change those later, because you know. Let's start putting these on the truck. Box hinges, mud flaps, not it. Rear keeper winch rollers, that'll be useful. Rear bumper, there we go. These are 10mm, right? Yeah. 10mm, 30mm, 10mm, 30mm. You know what I'm saying? Roughly. Okay. Box from the place to go. And since these are not self-locking crushed crush nuts, I'm going to have to use Loctite to keep them from vibrating off. So we'll be juicing these up with Loctite when we put them in. This guy is going to take 2 10mm and 2 of the, actually 4 of the 8 monster size that I already picked up. These hoggers. Always take a ton of pictures of the back of all the parts that you take apart, because you're going to be reviewing them all the time. One of these days I would actually get this stupid thing to record correctly. Suck it up. 247 foot-pounds. I'm gonna need more of this stuff. More Loctite. Yeah, baby. It's not only a thread locker, it's a thread protector. You know who told me that? The guy selling Loctite. Yes, I'm using 270, whatever. The blue, medium, still removable, without heat. Okay. And now I gotta go look up the torque specs for a 10mm. Ew, can't be low on this good stuff. Ooh, that's gonna be a good gob. We get a gab, better the job. No! Ooh, there we go. Oh, there's freaking grease in there. 50 and 5. Cool. Let's put some lights and wires in. I not bring wrenches? Ow. Oh, there we go. There it is. Jeez. Okay. Oh, they have this thing facing that way. There we go. Okay. Get this thing in the tank and get it cleaned up. Alright. This is the tank. Got a new grease zerk in it. Got ourselves a nice polish bearing. Go back on there. Pretty. Alright. Let's go put this back on the truck. Little anti-seize. A lot of anti-seize. All right, well, here's the problem we ran into. When we put the pintle in, I'm having to use my cell phone and hold it at the same time. Sorry about this, guys. Is when we put the pintle in, it doesn't have enough swivel that hits the friggin' bolt head. So we just machined a little aluminum spacer because there's going to be no pressure on it as it's pulling. There's a big bronze spacer that goes in the back that we added, that we're going to be adding. So let's get that on there. I had to go back to the tank and clean this thing up and throw a little coat of paint on there real quick because it was ugly. We'll put our homemade washer on. There we go. That was a great thought. I just realized something. We're now a ½ inch away from being able to put our cotter pin in our castle nut. So we got to spin it off and take this out. There we go. There we go. Yeah, just machine that town. Well, that took a heck of a lot more work than I thought, but now it spins. Good. Well, I think I bored you guys long enough with this little chunk of project here, so we're gonna go ahead and button this guy up off camera, and I'll show you the end result. Well, there we go. I told you I'd show you when we got it all done, but we got all of our joints re-greased, new grease zerks put in, new grease caps put on. I got to get some dummy covers, dummy glad hand covers. Got our shackles put back on. Got these brake lights put in, but I don't know if I like them anymore, so we might be changing those out with some other design. I don't quite like that anymore. But anyways, there it is. So we got, had to put the air box and air filter back on because we got a call from Bryce. He's going to be over here for some gears. So that's a nice surprise. That nice center section. We just, that third member we just painted up. We're going to get to paint it again because it'll be a different color hopefully in the next couple of days. So maybe we can get a video put together for that if he doesn't mind being on camera. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.